What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Kicking It with Crowder, guys. Tonight we'll talk about the latest in the NFL training camps. We'll also talk college football and the latest in fall camps. The news with the number one quarterback in 2022 reclassifying with Ohio State. Myles Brennan breaks his arm at LSU. We'll dive into that. And then we'll also talk about the NBA free agency going on right now and MLB trade deadline. The Braves are playing right now. They're down 3-0, trying their hardest to get above 500. CK, what's up, man? What's up with the Braves, man? We cannot get above 500 every time we play. To go above 500, we lose, or to get to 500. So we've literally we've been teeter-tottering losses and wins every for like the last 16, 17 games. So we'll see what happens. But if anything happens to the Braves this year, I blame it on Collins. So we'll see what happens. What's up, man? So guys, got a really good show tonight, and I'm excited to bring it to you guys. Braves got problems, man. Braves got problems. I will agree with you on that. So thanks for tuning in, man. What you want to talk about? You want to talk about Georgia a little bit? What you think Georgia's going to do? Is this their year? And then we'll talk NFL, the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Smith, their training camp down in Flowery Branch. We'll be heading down there tomorrow. So really excited for that. So thanks, guys. You know what to do. Hit that like button. Share down below. Get this out so more people can see it. And let me know what you want to talk about down below. Okay, guys? So Kicking It with Crowder begins in 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? And welcome to another edition of Kicking It with Crowder. This is episode 93. I'm very excited to bring you another show. We're almost to 100. So really excited for that. And then also on the page, we have 1,000 followers now. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. We've made it to 1,000. That was a short-term goal. Now I want to make it to 2,000 and just keep growing. So thank you guys so much. Whether you're an old listener, new listener, thank you guys so much. Hit that share button down below. College football has been on fire lately, literally on fire. Texas, Oklahoma going to the SEC, NIL rules, and now some more stuff going down with Quinn Ewers, the number one quarterback, and also the number 2 overall player, depending on who you talk to, in the 2022 class, reclassifies. He was one class away from graduating, was going to join Ohio State in was going to join him in January anyway, so it's not that big a deal, but he does basically become eligible for the NFL draft a year earlier. He's already 18 years old. The kid has an absolute cannon. If you haven't watched him, you should. Quinn Ewers, Ewers, and first name Quinn. Like I said, he has an absolute rocket attached to his to his body, and the kid can sling it. I'm telling you right now. Now, this is a problem for Ohio State mainly because they have C.J. Stroud, quarterback, number 42 overall player, according to 24/7, in the 2020 class. He'll be a redshirt freshman. And then you have Kyle McCord, who was in the 2021 class, who was the number 27 overall player, the number 5 quarterback. And he looks over his shoulder, and who's he have? Who he thought he was going to have a year away from? Quinn Ewers. So, Ewers, however you pronounce his name, some people may say it another way, but the kid, you knew he was going to Ohio State anyways because he was committed, but maybe you were hoping he would maybe go to Texas or maybe not end up at Ohio State. Maybe you thought you could win the job and fend him off. Now you're looking over your shoulder, you're competing with him. So watch out for the Ohio State quarterback room in the transfer portal. You could see they got 4 really good quarterbacks. You could see 2 of them transfer. And then maybe you'll see one of them stick around and be the backup. But just huge news out of Ohio State. I'm not sure if Ewers can win the starting quarterback job in just 3 weeks, but he's going to definitely have an opportunity. So we'll see what happens. And then Myles Brennan, quarterback, LSU, got hurt last year, played pretty good in 3 games. Sat behind Joe Burrow for a couple years. He gets injured, breaks his right arm in practice. I'm guessing they haven't actually announced what happened, but he underwent surgery. He's looking at all of his options, maybe sitting out this season to gain another year of eligibility. And then maybe he could look to transfer depending on what happens with your quarterback situation. You have Max Johnson now, who's supposed to be the starting quarterback. Brad Johnson's son, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback, I might add. He is now the starter. And then now you have Garrett Nussmeier, who is the backup. So he's one play away from playing as well. So interesting news out of college football, to say the least. They'll evaluate him going forward, but just tough news for the LSU Tigers and Ed Orgeron. You hate to see that happen. Interesting to see how that happened. If he's a quarterback, you normally have the red shirt on, can't touch him. So I want to know what happened there. I'm sure everyone else does. But training camps are underway and injuries are already starting to happen. Fantasy football, Collins, I know your team's been off the last few years. I hate to call you out here, but you need to listen to me right now. Don't draft Carson Wentz, Collins. I know you were talking to me earlier about possibly, shocking the world and picking Carson Wentz pretty early on. You're going to have to wait on that one, my friend. Carson Wentz is injured, breaks his foot. He's out possibly 5 to 12 weeks moving forward. And your boy, Collins, Jacob Eason, from the University of Georgia, from Washington Huskies, is now maybe thrust in to playing quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. And the guy's physical tools are unbelievable. I mean, the guy can make throws that most people can't. He has like a rocket attached to his arm, like I talked about earlier. I mean, the guy really can make throws such as a Matt Stafford could make. That's kind of how good his arm is. I really think his arm is that good. But he just hasn't put it all together, doesn't have many reps, doesn't have the reps under his belt. So we'll see what happens. Collins thinks that Nick Foles could go full circle and replace Carson Wentz again, similar to what he did in 2017. And what happened? The Eagles won the Super Bowl. The Colts are going to win the damn Super Bowl in 2021. Mark it down. I'm telling you right now, fellas. So we'll see what happens. I don't think they sign a veteran. I don't. I think they already signed Brent Hundley, who has 9 career starts. He could be the backup to Eason. You draft Sam Ehlinger. Carson Wentz only going to be out 5 to 12 weeks. I think you stay with Eason. But I will say, the Indianapolis Colts schedule is tough. First 5 games, look it up. I'm telling you, they have a long road ahead of them. They could easily be 0-5. They could easily be 3-2. Who knows what happens those first 5 games? The NFL is so competitive. Anything could happen. It could go either way. But Jacob Eason's going to get his chance, and if he plays well, Carson Wentz may never see the field in Indianapolis. So, we'll see what happens. Indianapolis doesn't want Carson Wentz to play 70 to 75% of his of the snaps, because then they owe the Eagles a first-round draft pick. Right now, it's a second-round draft pick, but if you play 70% and they make the playoffs, or 75% of the snaps, they got to give up a first-round pick. So they don't want him to play that much. They want Eason probably to play the first couple games and get some wins under their belt. And then if they can go back to Carson Wentz, they go back to Carson Wentz. If Jacob Eason has it rolling, you stick with what you got. So I'm excited to see what Jacob Eason can do. Always like the guy. Also, their guard, Quentin Nelson, all-pro guard. One of the best guards in the NFL. Love to have him as my security guard, just rolling around maybe on Bourbon Street or something like that. Quentin Nelson, guy is jacked, a freak athlete. Quentin Nelson, he puts your hands on you, he's going to do something not good. I'm telling you, the guy is a freaking brawler. Quentin Nelson, he's out for 5 to 12 weeks. Similar injury to Carson Wentz. What are they putting in the water down there in Indianapolis? He's out 5 to 12 weeks. Carson Wentz is out 5 to 12 weeks. So, man, maybe we need to go try out for the Colts. All right, but just absolutely brutal first couple weeks of training camp. But training camps are underway. We'll get into training camp, some training camp questions I have a little bit later on in the show. NBA free agency, guys, is also underway, and a bunch of deals going through right now. A lot of sign and trades. Patty Mills, huge pickup, goes to the Brooklyn Nets to play with James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. I thought that was an underrated move. The LA Lakers are signing everyone. They're signing veterans. They're trading for guys like Russell Westbrook. They are signing Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, Malik Monk from Charlotte. I mean, they're making some moves. They're cleaning house. They're getting rid of some of their guys, some of their bad contracts. And, they have a nice little roster moving forward. They're going to compete definitely with Golden State. Also, the Phoenix Suns. I mean, the West is going to be very, very fun to watch next year. I can't believe it. We'll discuss that. Some of these deals that are being signed right now. And then we'll also talk about the winners and the losers of the MLB trade deadline. The Dodgers, of course, are landing Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. Those motherfuckers. I swear to God, I can't stand the Dodgers, okay? I can't stand them. Never liked them. Never will like them. Braves lose 3-1 to them. Don't make it any better. Now they signed Trey Turner and Max Scherzer. You gotta be kidding me. And the Braves are over here owned by Liberty Media or something like that, not spending any money, trading and getting, Adam Duvall. All right, I mean, come on, man. Like, I'm not talking crap about Adam Duvall. I actually like that signing, but come on, man. Like, the Dodgers just trade these. I mean, there's no salary cap in baseball. There needs to be some type of salary cap, something, or the Braves need to spend more money, one or the other. So we'll talk about that, and that's where we sit right now. 55 games left in the MLB season. We'll talk about that. And then also news from the Olympics. The men's basketball team, although they have lost, they have got it back on track. Kevin Durant, 29 points against Spain the other night, while Ricky Rubio was going off as well for Spain. They get in, and they're going to play Australia to go to the championship game in the semifinals. Australia, of course, beat them in the kind of preseason Olympics. So we'll see what happens. I like America. Rock USA all the way. Red, white, and blue. I think Kevin Durant and this team find a way to get it done. But we'll talk a little bit about that. And then also the news about Simone Biles dropping out of, mental health issues. Basically saying she needs a break. She's under, a great pressure and all this. Even though this happened to Simone Biles goes down as one of the top 3 all-time Olympic athletes. 2 coming from America and 1 coming from Jamaica. And that's what I want to know, guys. Who's your favorite between these 3? A lot of women are going to go with Simone Biles, and rightfully so. But who's your favorite athlete between these 3? Is it Usain Bolt from Jamaica, the sprinter, the just unbelievably fastest man alive? Or is it Michael Phelps, the fish? I mean, the guy is just unbelievable swimmer. Did it like 15 in the Olympics, won so many gold medals. Or Simone Biles. Those are my 3 greatest Olympic athletes. Where do they rank to you, Collins? I want to know how you rank those 3. Let me know down below. Send me a message, guys. Who's your top 3 athletes all time in the Olympics? You may like someone else a little bit better, but I just want to know who are your favorite between these 3 right now. And then we'll move forward. So, guys, thank you so much to everyone for watching tonight. I really appreciate it, for joining the conversation. Let me know what you want to talk about down below. Comment, like, share. You see a little share button, you see a like button, go ahead and hit it right there. Just boom, hit it with your nice little gentle fingers. Boom. Boom. Okay, hit it right there. Make it go. Shoo. All right, and then we get more people on it, and I just, it helps me out. Maybe we can get a little money, and we can move forward. All right, so don't forget to comment, don't forget to like, don't forget to share down below, guys. I really appreciate it. You can also find me anywhere you get your podcast: Spotify, Apple, the iHeartRadio app, Twitter, YouTube, my website as well. You can also find my website as well, guys, www.kickingitwithcrowder.com. And then also, like I said, 1,000 followers on my page. I can't thank y'all enough. Really appreciate it. All right, so before we move forward, we're going to talk about college football. CK puts his vote in. Michael Phelps first. Usain Bolt second. Simone Biles third. And I'm not surprised he went with the American, Michael Phelps first. But for me, it's gotta be Usain Bolt first for me, and then Phelps, and then Biles. Just unbelievable what he was able to do in the 2008, 2012, 2016 Olympics. Both of those guys were just unbelievable. And being able to swim faster than everyone is a major flex, but being able to run faster than everyone is just a huge flex. You're at the park and everyone's like, hey, let's play a pickup game. And Usain Bolt's over there like, nah, bruh, let's race on a foot, man. You know what I mean? And it's just like, damn, like I can't beat him in a race. I mean, not many people can beat Usain Bolt in a race. Tyreek Hill and Usain Bolt have been going at it on Twitter. They got a little beef going on. And Tyreek Hill wants some smoke with Usain Bolt. I'm here to tell you, Tyreek, I don't think you do, my friend. Google Usain Bolt. I mean, this guy is literally insane. Okay, I know Tyreek Hill's fast. But Usain Bolt's like fast. All right? So, I'm just saying. I like Usain Bolt. That's my favorite athlete, Olympian of all time, but that's just me. And then Michael Phelps, very close second. But, all right, we'll talk about college football a little bit, guys. The number one player in the 2022 class, Quinn Ewers, already talked about him, Ewers, will join the 2021 class at Ohio State. Oh, we got George on the beat. What's up, man? Thanks for watching, man. So, 2022 quarterback, Quinn Ewers, rocket of a cannon of an arm. If you haven't looked him up, you should. Type his name in. You'll see him slinging it around. I mean, the guy's got an absolute cannon, okay? He's going to join Ohio State's recruiting class that also has quarterbacks C.J. Stroud and Kyle McCord. They will battle it out for the starting quarterback position at Ohio State. And we're going to see who wins. I think it's going to be a major battle. Three of those guys may end up leaving. I don't know what's going to happen. Kyle McCord would be my guess to leave and be able to start somewhere in 2022. The guy did not think Quinn Ewers was going to go over and do this and be in the same recruiting class as him when he was the number 27 overall player in this class. Very talented quarterback, number 5 overall quarterback in this class. A guy who is going to get looks from a lot of teams and was recruited hard by a lot of programs. So look out for him to possibly transfer out. C.J. Stroud, I mean, guy came from, I think he's from California, came across the country. So, I mean, there's going to be teams back home interested in him. So, very, very interesting to watch. I mean, it's going to be a next, Ryan Day's going to have some decisions on his hands in the next few weeks. And now they're going to have to get a quarterback in the 2022 class. They're going to have to look for a quarterback possibly in 2023, 2024, when these other guys are going to be leaving. I mean, yes, it's nice to have a good quarterback room, but also it's not good to have a really, really crowded quarterback room, similar to what Georgia may have next year. And they have JT Daniels, Carson Beck, Brock Vandergriff, and Gunnar Stockton. I mean, that is crazy quarterback room what they could have. And then also Ohio State is going to have something similar to that this year. And you also got Miller, who was another top 300 quarterback. I mean, you got some really, really good talent coming into Ohio State. So Ryan Day's got his going to have some problems on his hands maybe in the future. And the main story out of this, Quinn Ewers left high school early because he wanted to be paid, and Texas legislator voted against high school players being able to get paid and make money in high school off their name, image, and likeness. So that is why he's going pro. He's going to be getting paid immediately. Sure, he's going to have some sponsorships lined up right away. Car dealerships, maybe not banks, but I don't know why I said that. Pawn shops, all kind of stuff. He's going to have deals lined up. Merchandise, he'll sign jerseys, sign things like that. So college football is the wild, wild west nowadays. And then you got Texas and Oklahoma wanting some of that bread, and they want to get paid, and they want to come to the SEC. All right, they want to put on. And they about to find out. They about to find out that it ain't all. They play defense in the SEC, and they gonna smack Texas and Oklahoma right in the mouth. And I absolutely cannot wait for that to happen. But man, huge news coming out this week with Quinn Ewers. We talked about him a lot. He'll be eligible now for the 2024 draft. So watch out. Miles Brennan, quarterback from LSU, breaks his arm. Don't know if it was in practice. Don't know if he fell at the house. Don't know if he was out with some friends. They have not released the news. Breaks his arm, his left arm. He's out indefinitely. We'll look into all options moving forward, his dad said. So the kid could look to sit out this year and then transfer somewhere else. He could look to stay at LSU. But, that just, to me, especially if he misses the whole season and Max Johnson starts the whole season, it's going to be hard for him to come back to LSU. I'd look for him at Ole Miss. Mississippi native. Could look to maybe transfer back home to Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin may need a quarterback position after Matt Corral goes off this year. So I'm just saying it's going to be insane going forward with all these quarterback rooms. A lot of these SEC teams have really good quarterback competitions. Look at Texas A&M. They got 2 to 3 guys battling it out. Auburn has 3 guys battling it out. LSU had a quarterback battle. Ole Miss has Corral, but they also have Plumlee as his backup. Georgia's got a very talented quarterback room. Florida, Emory Jones is most likely the starting quarterback, but they got some guys as well. So, it's unbelievable. With these guys they go to these rooms and they think they can beat out these guys and they don't, and then they end up leaving. They got to start all over. So we'll see what happens. Not sure if Collins, you're right. It's a great move for the SEC bringing in Texas and Oklahoma. It works out for the SEC. It works out for Oklahoma and Texas. They can get some of that SEC money. They can get some of these traditions started. And then also Oklahoma and Texas are most likely going to move to the SEC West, which makes it very, very possible for Auburn and Alabama to move to the East, forming an East that would start with Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. Woo! Are you kidding me? That would be insane. Every year those teams are going to get it at it. And then in the West, it makes a lot of sense. You got Missouri, you got Texas, you got Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi State, and LSU. That's a nice little West Conference too. LSU makes a lot of sense. Teaming up against Oklahoma and Texas. That would be insane. Both conferences would be very good. It would be pretty much even, East versus West. And you're right, it would be an insane East. I think the West would be pretty good as well. But I'm just saying, the East with Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and Auburn, that is just, I'm here for it. Sign me up. I'm here for it. But I want to talk a little bit about this ESPN Top 10 Power Rankings. Just came out yesterday. And you're going to be shocked here, but Alabama is the number 1 team, and I think that people are just basically saying, hey, they got Nick Saban. They've had these top recruiting classes. Until someone beats them, I'm putting them number 1. And Alabama is going to start the season as the number 1 team, and I know a lot of people aren't going to be happy with it. What's up, Glenn? Thanks for watching, man. Like always, I really appreciate you tuning in every week, man. Thank you. So we got Alabama coming in at number 1. They're going to have to break in this new quarterback, Bryce Young. They're going to have John Mechie, wide receiver on the outside. Also bring in 3 very talented true freshmen who will all play this year. They're going to have a couple running backs. They're going to be 3-4 deep at running back. Offensive line will be retooled, led by Evan Neal. They also bring in 2 top 5 tackles from the 2021 class. Defense going to be reloaded, a young defensive line. Got some good young linebackers, and then a great secondary with some returning starters, and then also some freshmen thrown in there with Kool-Aid McKinstry. I really like what I'm going to see from this Alabama team. They're going to start number 1. I don't know if they'll end there, but they're going to be pretty good. And yeah, I really do feel like it's going to be hard to duplicate what they did last year, Glenn. They're going to have to take a step back. But even if they lose 2 games, lose 1 game in the regular season, and then maybe the SEC championship game, that's still a tremendous season from Alabama. And they get into a big bowl game, and they recruit, and they probably reload and win it the next year. I mean, that's probably what would happen. I'm with you there. I think Alabama does decide to lose a game this year in the regular season at some point, and then in the SEC championship game, anything could happen with them in Georgia. But yeah, I'm definitely with you, Glenn. You could see this team losing 1 to 2 ball games. And then number 2 team, you got Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Sooners, who I said will be going to the SEC, but probably not until next year, or it'll be either 2022 to 2025 when they'll be going, but we'll see what happens. But they're going to be led by Spencer Rattler in 2021, and he really finished the season strong last year when they defeated Iowa State for the Big 12. They lost to them during the season. Also lost to Kansas State during the season as well. I don't intend on Oklahoma doing that this year. I really feel like it's going to be them or Iowa State down the stretch. Haven't made my mind up who I like in that championship game yet, but it's going to be one of the two. And I really think Spencer Rattler, it's with T's, Collins. God, not Rattler. No, Rattler is going to, Spencer Rattler, I've been watching him since he on that QB1 show. I really like what he brings to the table. He's an athletic guy, can make all the throws in the books, can get outside the pocket. Really reminds me of Justin Fields in a sense of just his athleticism, just that point guard on the field, just an absolute leader, can make all the throws. And, you know, that time he got last year was very valuable. But then this year, having an off-season program, having those workouts, being able to be with his teammates in the summer during fall camp, that's going to make a huge difference going into his redshirt sophomore season. This may be his last season on campus at Oklahoma. I mean, it just flies by. I remember this guy being a senior on that show, and then now he's basically a junior in college, and he could be leaving. No, I'm just messing with you, Collins. And then he could be leaving very soon after 3 years. I mean, they just go by so quickly. You look at DJ Uiagalelei at Clemson. I mean, this guy is a redshirt freshman. He could be gone after next year as well. They just go so fast. So it's either like they go by so fast in college, or they're there forever. So Oklahoma, they're going to be good. They're going to be a college football playoff team, most likely, them or Iowa State out of the Big 12, so very interested to see what happens there. Then Clemson, got them at number 3. I just mentioned their quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei. It's hard to pronounce his name, but I'm working on it. I met with him at ACC Media Day, and the guy is just a very humble kid, just huge, too. I mean, he's all bit of 6'5", 255, just an absolute dog out there on the field, can make all the throws. He has some great receivers to throw the ball to in E.J. Williams and Justin Ross and some of these other guys coming back. They're going to have kind of a running back by committee at running back with the senior, the 5th-year senior carrying the football for Clemson. And then also this true freshman, Will Shipley, they'll use him all around the football field. I'm really excited to see what he brings to this Clemson backfield. One of the highest rated players they've ever gotten in the ESPN or in the 24/7 since Clemson has been recruiting in the last few years. And then they won't have to go very far in their first matchup with UGA. And it's also, before I move on to UGA, this Clemson defense, guys, is going to be very, very good, led up top by Brian Breesy, the defensive tackle, very talented defensive tackle, very highly rated 24/7 player. But sorry, my microphone went out. All right, so and Ross is basically cleared, but hasn't been like, he's cleared medically about for his neck, but he hasn't been like cleared for practices and all, what Dabo Swinney was talking about at ACC Media Day. So yes, he's been cleared technically, but yeah, I don't think he's been cleared for contact yet, like going forward. But they expect him to be ruled eligible before the season starts, so we'll see what happens. And then you got UGA, and this UGA matchup with Clemson is just going to be one. I mean, they're going to be. It doesn't waste any time. It's going to be probably one of the best games of the last few years. I really feel like it's going to live up to that. UGA is underdogs in this game, which to me, you look at Georgia's roster, you look at this Clemson roster, I think Georgia's roster is just a little bit better overall, like the entire team, both sides of the football. Yes, you're gonna have more star power, I think, on this Clemson team, but I think overall as a team, I think you have more firepower with this Georgia Bulldogs team. JT Daniels, you got the running back committee, James Cook, Zamir White, Kendall Milton, McIntosh, 4 guys who can all get it done, who could all be all top SEC running backs. I mean, literally, they could all be at the end of the season first team SEC running back. Any one of those guys, you could pick any one of them, and any one of them could be on that list at the end of the year. They have a great offensive line with guys who have been playing for the last few years. They're also going to be breaking in some new guys up front. That's always good to have that camaraderie of young and old kind of mixed in together. And then on defense, man, they're going to be led by Jordan Davis up front, the huge nose tackle who just moves around and does things that normal humans that big should not be able to do. They're also going to be, they have guys who are just trying to mold into just superstars on that defensive line. You have Adam Anderson, who could be a first-round draft pick from Rome, Georgia. Then you also have a guy like Nakobe Dean at linebacker, who's going to be making plays all year. And then you have the former number 1 overall player, Nolan, or what's his name? From Savannah. He's from Savannah. He plays, I know his name. I'm drawing a blank right now. But, I mean, he is unbelievable. And he really hasn't tapped into his full potential at UGA so far either. And I really feel like this team, they add Tyke Smith, the transfer from West Virginia. They add De'Aaron Kendrick, the cornerback from Clemson, 2 guys who are former All-Americans, into this secondary, this young secondary with Keely Ringo, and also the big hitter, the big safety as well. So, I mean, they have Lawrence Kine, so they have so much talent on this UGA team, and they're going to just put it all forward. And Nolan Smith, that's the defensive end I was talking about from Savannah and the IMG Academy, the former number 1 overall player in the 2019 class. Look for him to really have a breakout season this year. Adam Anderson as well. I really like those 2 going forward. Nakobe Dean. They got 2 freshman linebackers. One from Paulding County, one from Carrollton, who I expect to play early. I mean, this team is just unbelievable going forward. I really like this UGA roster. I know more about them than any other team in this top 10. So, really excited for Kirby Smart. And it's time, man. It's time to get it done with all these former number 1 overall classes and top 5 classes. It's just time to get it done, Kirby. It's time to put up or shut up. And I think UGA is going to have a great chance this year. I'll put their title chances about 20-25%. Honestly, I really would going into this season. Number 5 team, we talked about them a little bit earlier, Ohio State. Ryan Day trying to replace the first-round draft pick quarterback Justin Fields. They have the 2 wide receivers coming back in Garrett Wilson and Olave. They also are going to have a revamped offensive line. Also, Master Teague running the football. And then on defense, of course, they just reload on that defense like they do every year at Ohio State. So I really feel like Ohio State's the cream of the crop in the Big Ten. Yes, they will be challenged by Iowa, Penn State. You also look at some other programs. You know, Michigan's going to have a decent team. So, we'll see what happens, but Ohio State should win the Big Ten pretty easily and maybe possibly put themselves in the college football playoff. This next team shocked a lot of people last year. Jimbo Fisher is going to have this team. I feel like Texas A&M is going to be better than they were last year. I know that's weird. I know, you look at that roster last year, having to replace 4 offensive linemen, also having to replace Kellen Mond, but they have 2 former top 100 quarterbacks who are going to compete, 2 guys who know the playbook. Jimbo Fisher is going to roll with one of these guys to move forward. And I wouldn't be surprised if he reached out to Texas A&M to to Ohio State if one of these guys decide to hit the transfer portal. I feel like C.J. Stroud or Kyle McCord would fit really good in this A&M offense moving forward if they do not find their guy. So A&M, they have C.J. Spiller. They have Isaiah Spiller. That he's going to be one of the top running backs this year. They also have some big, talented wide receivers. Then this defensive line, they got Leal up front. Going to be a top 10 draft pick moving forward. They have a hard-hitting safety. They get it done at all three levels on the defensive side. So this Texas A&M team is going to be really good. And I'm not saying they can beat Alabama, but they will compete with Alabama and keep it a lot closer than last year. I like this A&M team moving forward. Did not like them last year as much as some people did. And I made a mistake on them last year. Will not make the same mistake on them as I did last year moving forward. They're going to be very good moving forward. Then you got Iowa State at number 7, Breece Hall, one of the number 1 running backs coming back. Also, they have a very talented Brock Purdy at quarterback. And then I really like their coach, Matt Campbell, coming off an impressive, I think, 9-2 season last year. They'll be really good moving forward. It'll be them or Oklahoma in the Big 12. Then you have Oregon at number 8. Oregon's going to be good. Mario Cristobal they'll be breaking in a new quarterback. The former Boston College transfer, I believe, is going to be their starting quarterback this year. They have C.J. Verdell at running back. They got some defensive guys going. They're having to replace some defensive guys with Javon Holland moving forward to the NFL. But I like Oregon. And then Oregon's going to play Ohio State this year. That's going to be a hell of a game. One of the top non-conference games of the season. And then number 9, you got Notre Dame. And then number 10, you have UNC. Notre Dame having to replace Ian Book. Look for them to maybe struggle a little bit early on, but get going later on in the season. And then UNC, you got Sam Howell and Mac Brown and this very, very talented roster. Look for Sam Howell to possibly break the ACC passing touchdown record. Sits at 68 right now going into his junior year. Hasn't even thrown a pass right now. If he throws one touchdown pass, it'll be the UNC all-time leader as well. So those are ESPN's top 10 power rankings. Gave you a little bit of information about each team, each program moving forward. So NFL guys, have a lot of questions moving forward in training camp. Just going to ask a couple here. Can the Bucs repeat? I mean, they have a very talented roster moving forward. Yeah, very, very, very talented roster moving forward. Can the Saints, Jameis Winston, beat out Taysom Hill? I mean, I don't know if he can do that right now. I mean, a lot of people think that he will, but I just don't know right now. I mean, he's still up for grabs, Taysom Hill. One thing I will say that Jameis Winston has going for him, if you take Taysom Hill out of that role as that kind of gadget player, it kind of takes away a wrinkle of this New Orleans Saints offense. So that I really do feel like Jameis Winston will be the starting quarterback, but you'll see Taysom Hill getting about 10 snaps a game, possibly at quarterback, and then life after Drew Brees for the New Orleans Saints. We'll see how they do. They've made the playoffs 9 out of the last 14 years for Sean Payton. Also, Wentz is out, guys. I talked about this a little bit earlier in the show. Jacob Eason now looks for to be that guy going forward for them. Wentz is going to be out 5 to 12 weeks, so if you put it 5 weeks, will be kind of right first game of the season, second game of the season. 12 weeks will put him more like week 7, week 8. So it's going to be crazy. Carson Wentz has kind of dealt with injury issues. He's dealt with injury issues. So Jacob Eason, man, this is your time to shine. You got that big arm. Show everyone what you got moving forward. So something to watch out for there. Also, Quentin Nelson, their guard, all-pro guard, is out with the same exact foot injury as Carson Wentz. It sucks when one player gets hurt, it's like another player gets hurt right away. It's always like that. The new look Jags, Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow, what? They're in the NFL now. They're not at Florida anymore. They're in Florida, but they're not at the University of Florida. They're in Jacksonville, and we're gonna see what Trevor Lawrence, the former number 1 overall pick from Clemson, from Cartersville High School here in Georgia. And we'll see what Trevor Lawrence is able to do and get this Jags franchise back on track. Broncos, guys. Broncos have camp battle right now at quarterback. Drew Lock versus Teddy Bridgewater. Interesting to see what happens that going forward. The Broncos have a pretty good defense. If they have a pretty relatively easy schedule moving forward. So we'll see what they can do. This team could win anywhere from 7 to 10 games, I really feel like. And we'll see what happens moving forward. But Vic Fangio needs his quarterback situation figured out before the season starts. And then, the last thing, I was watching NFL Network today, and, they were talking to Andy Dalton, and, in the background, you just see Justin Fields just throwing rockets across the field. And, they took him at 11th overall, and the guy could have been easily the number 2, number 3 overall pick in the draft, but he fell a little bit just based off things like he can't read defenses and he's not a leader and all that other bull crap. I love Justin Fields coming out. I had him as my number 2. I think I had him as my number 2 overall quarterback. Really like his skill set. I really like his leadership, what he's going to be able to do to this Bears offense. Yes, Andy Dalton's going to start the first few games. I really feel like he'll start, the first 3 to 5 games. But at some point, Justin Fields, if you have a Ferrari and you got it sitting in the garage and you don't want to drive it, but you just walk past it every single day and you touch it and you just like, man, I want to drive it, but I can't. Eventually, you're gonna fire that thing up and you're gonna drive it, Collins. And Fields will be the starter at some point during the season. I don't feel like they will just start Fields right away. Look for possibly after game 4. A quarter of the season, basically. You do have 17 games, but Fields is just too good. He's too gifted athletically, and he's just too much of a gamer to sit on the sidelines when your job is up for the line for the quarterback, for the GM and the head coach with Pace and Nagy. So we'll see what happens. Andy Dalton is a serviceable quarterback. He's had a nice career, but I really feel like he's going to be Justin Fields is the answer long-term for Chicago, and they finally got it right at the quarterback position. Could go down as one of the best quarterbacks of all time in Chicago Bears history. All right, so NFL preseason game, Cowboys versus Steelers tomorrow night on Thursday, man. On Thursday night, they will play, and the Cowboys and Steelers will get kind of an extra preseason game, so they go from 4 to 3, but these two teams will play 4 games instead of 3. Dak not expected to play. Shoulder injury, also is coming off the major ankle surgery as well. That will be Thursday. Also, Mason Rudolph will start for the Steelers. Big Ben not expected to play. All right, Pro Football Hall of Fame, guys. Class of 2021. Some really familiar names coming out. Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson. Those 3 names are the big leaders of the 2021 class. Just Charles Woodson, all-time great defensive back, maybe top 5 corner all-time. Peyton Manning, of course, a lot of people have him ranked in their top 5 quarterbacks all time. He's one of my top 3, definitely of all time. Loved Peyton Manning growing up. Those Broncos and Colts teams were always very, very competitive. And then you have Megatron, the guy who is only 3 years older than me, is now a Pro Football Hall of Famer, retired early from the Detroit Lions, but just put up Pro Football Hall of Fame numbers in his 8-9 seasons in the NFL, and he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's also joined by Coach Tom Flores, contributor Bill Nunn, wide receiver Drew Pearson, safety John Lynch, also general manager from the San Francisco 49ers. And then you also have guard Alan Faneca from the New York Jets. Unbelievable class. This is probably one of the best classes of all time, headlined by Peyton Manning, Calvin Johnson, and Charles Woodson. And then the 2020 class was not able to be inducted last year, did not have their time to shine, so they'll also be inducted this year. And you have coaches Jimmy Johnson from the Dallas Cowboys and Bill Cowher from the Pittsburgh Steelers will both be inducted. Then you have safety Troy Polamalu, number 43, who will be who was also always jumping over the line, making plays at safety, making big hits, interceptions, fumble recoveries, fumbles. I mean, I loved watching him play. He was like a cheat code on Madden. Edgerrin James, running back for the Indianapolis Colts and Arizona Cardinals, had a prolific career early on with the Colts. Also, wide receiver Isaac Bruce, one of the best tandems all time. Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce, the greatest show on turf, with Kurt Warner and the St. Louis Rams. And then from the Minnesota Vikings, offensive lineman Steve Hutchinson. He was a great offensive lineman as well. So that's your Pro Football Hall of Fame. These guys will be inducted this week into Canton, Ohio. You gotta love just putting in the time and the effort your whole career and then being enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So hats off to you guys. Just congratulations on an all-time great career. And, just really, really hats off to you guys. So before we get out of here, guys, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching me tonight. I really appreciate it. Kicking It with Crowder, episode 93. Before we get out of here, guys, I want to talk a little bit about the MLB trade deadline that was last week. The LA Dodgers end up getting Trey Turner and Max Scherzer from the Washington Nationals for some prospects. Just absolutely great trade for the Dodgers just to complete their lineup and then also add a dog like Max Scherzer to that rotation with Walker Buehler and Clayton Kershaw and all these other pieces they have. I mean, they're going to be hard to beat in October as well. Padres kind of had a trade for Max Scherzer. It fell apart, so that doesn't go their way, especially with the Dodgers getting him. But Padres do get Adam Frazier, but he's no Trey Turner or Max Scherzer. The Cubs basically traded away their entire organization. Just playing. But they do trade Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez, and Craig Kimbrell. All four guys, major pieces from that 2016 World Series. They do get traded. So Bryant goes to the Giants, Rizzo to the Yankees, Baez to the Mets, and Kimbrell to the White Sox. The Yankees end up getting Joey Gallo as well, so they add Gallo and Anthony Rizzo to a lineup that desperately needs left-handed batters to produce. The Red Sox are relatively quiet. They do not get Jose Berrios, but they do land Kyle Schwarber, outfielder, formerly of the Cubs, but played for the Nationals this season. Oh, hell yeah. The Braves just hit Adam Duvall just hit a go-ahead home run against the St. Louis Cardinals to go up 4-3. They were down 3-0. Now they're up 4-3. So way to go, Braves. We'll talk about them here in just a second. Nelson Cruz gets traded to Tampa Bay, and then Sterling Marte gets traded to the A's. Jose Berrios gets traded to the Blue Jays, and Kyle Gibson gets traded from the Rangers to the Phillies. But the Atlanta Braves make some really nice additions. Of course, adding Jock Peterson previously before the trade deadline, and then adding Jorge Soler from the Kansas City Royals, Adam Duvall from the Marlins, Eddie Rosario from the Indians, and then pitcher Richard Rodriguez from the Pittsburgh Pirates. So they add one arm, three outfielders, actually four outfielders, and then you have Ronald Acuna, of course, out. So Adam Duvall will play in the outfield with Jock Peterson, Soler, and Rosario. So nice moves. The Braves are still 53-54. If they win this game, they will be 54-54, and there's like 3 to 4 games back right now of the New York Mets. So we'll see what happens. A lot of people picked the Atlanta Braves with me as well to win the NL East this year, but they have not performed up to their standards so far, guys. So we're going to end with NBA free agency before we get out of here. The LA Lakers, of course, have been busy adding a bunch of former LA Lakers like Dwight Howard, Trevor Ariza. Also, they add Carmelo Anthony. They trade for Russell Westbrook. They trade Montrezl Harrell and Kyle Kuzma for Russell Westbrook. They also signed Malik Monk. So this is going to be a brand new look LA Lakers led by LeBron and Anthony Davis. But they will also have, like I said, Howard, Ariza, Malik Monk, Carmelo, Russell Westbrook, completely new look LA Lakers team next year. They'll compete with the Suns and also the Clippers and the Warriors for NBA West title next year. Kemba Walker signs today with the New York Knicks. Also, the Knicks signed Evan Fournier, so they're coming along pretty nicely in free agency, landing Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier to go along with Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett. And then Spencer Dinwiddie today has done a sign and trade to the Wizards, as well as the Chicago Bulls have been very busy signing DeMar DeRozan to a sign and trade deal, and Lonzo Ball. So they're going to have a pretty nice team with Vucevic, DeMar DeRozan, Kobe White, and also Lonzo Ball. I mean, they have a nice little nucleus. Also, Billy Donovan is their coach. So we'll see what happens there. The Heat made low-key one of the best moves of free agency, signing and trading Kyle Lowry, also signing Duncan Robinson, the former undrafted player, to the biggest undrafted free agent contract in history. So congratulations to Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, and they also will re-sign Victor Oladipo as well. Andre Drummond signs with the 76ers. And Kawhi opts out of his $36 million deal for some reason. I don't know why. He does have an ACL injury, but he opts out looking for a longer contract. So he'll miss most of the season. CP3 signs a 3-4-year deal with the Phoenix Suns. And then John Collins, guys, Atlanta Hawks fans, John Collins re-signs with the Atlanta Hawks for 5 years, $125 million. Also, the Atlanta Hawks do sign Trae Young to the max extension as well. So that's all we got for tonight. I really appreciate you guys tuning in to me tonight, Kicking It with Crowder, episode 93. The next few weeks, we have some really good stuff. We'll have NFL predictions. We'll have an NFL prediction show where it's all NFL, and we'll have an NCAA college football edition where it's just that as well. So really, really excited to bring you guys those episodes this month. Training camps are underway. Stay cool out there, guys, because it's been hot out there. Stay cool with the AC on in the shade. And I hope you guys have a great day. Check me out, Kicking It with Crowder, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, at Kick It with Crow. Pretty much anywhere you get your podcast, guys. Thank y'all so much. I'm out. Let's go.